The night in Eldoria was silent, but the air felt heavy, as if it carried whispers from distant galaxies. Daniel could not sleep. The crystal pulsed faintly in his pocket, its glow like a heartbeat. Every pulse seemed to warn him, danger was coming, closer than ever. Unable to resist, Daniel returned to the old alien woman's home. The children were outside this time, forming a circle on the lawn. Their energy shimmered in waves, casting moving shadows across the ground. Their laughter was gone, replaced by an intense focus, a quiet that felt unnatural. Daniel noticed that their eyes were no longer just colorful, they glowed with light that seemed to stretch into infinity. The old woman appeared behind him. "You see, Daniel," she whispered, "the crystal is more than a gift. It is a key, a beacon that calls beings across worlds. Some come in peace. Others, not." Suddenly, the ground shook violently. Trees trembled as if the earth itself had gasped. Daniel staggered, holding the crystal tightly. From the edge of the forest, a figure emerged, tall, armored in shadows that moved like liquid smoke. Its eyes burned like molten fire. It stepped forward with an unnatural speed, its every movement precise, deadly, and alien. The children immediately raised their hands. Light burst from their fingertips, forming a barrier that rippled outward. Daniel felt the energy hum through him, almost as if the crystal recognized his courage and amplified it. "You are strong," the old woman said, her voice steady, though her hands shook. "But strength alone will not stop it. You must understand the bond. Kindness and bravery together, only then will the crystal protect all of you." Daniel's heart pounded. He realized that the small act of giving water to a lonely alien woman had unlocked forces beyond his imagination. But now, he had no choice, he was a protector. And this shadowed figure was testing him, the children, and the very limits of the crystal's power. The figure spoke for the first time, its voice like grinding metal. "Hand over the crystal, or face annihilation." Daniel stepped forward. "I will not," he shouted, his voice echoing across the empty streets. He felt a surge of courage he had never known. The crystal in his hand pulsed violently, sending waves of light that pushed the shadow back a few steps. The children chanted softly, their voices combining with the crystal's energy. The shadow hesitated, its form flickering, revealing glimpses of something humanoid underneath. It was intelligent, calculating, and it respected only strength. Daniel realized that this was not just a test, it was a battle for survival, for the safety of the alien elder, and for the future of Eldoria itself. The old woman placed her hand on Daniel's shoulder. "Remember, Daniel, it is not violence alone that wins. Heart, mind, and courage together. You must lead, not just fight." The shadow lurched forward, faster than Daniel had imagined possible. The children's circle of light expanded, forming a dome that glowed like molten gold. Daniel braced himself, holding the crystal high. The air crackled with energy, sparks flying in every direction. And then, as the shadow collided with the barrier, a deafening roar shook the town. Daniel felt the crystal surge, its energy connecting him with the children in ways he could not fully understand. He realized in that moment that his act of kindness had not only saved a lonely alien woman, it had awakened a chain of events that could change the destiny of worlds. The battle had begun, and Daniel understood one terrifying truth: nothing would ever be the same again. The shadow's attack was only the start, and the real challenge, the one that would test his heart, his mind, and his courage, was yet to come. The night was thick with tension in Eldoria. The shadow from the forest had retreated, but its threat lingered like a storm on the horizon. Daniel stood outside the old alien woman's home, gripping the glowing crystal. Its light pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat, strong, urgent, almost alive. The 5 alien grandchildren circled him, their eyes glowing brighter than ever. Daniel could feel the energy emanating from them, intertwining with the crystal's power. They were no longer just children, they were warriors in miniature, guardians of something far greater than he could understand. The old woman's voice echoed through the courtyard. Daniel, you have awakened forces you cannot yet comprehend. The crystal is more than a gift, it is a key. A key to worlds beyond this one. And now, others will come for it. Before he could ask what she meant, a ripple of darkness tore through the edge of the forest. This time, it was not one shadow, it was many. Shapes twisted and moved like living smoke, faster than the eye could follow. Their eyes burned red, their forms terrifying and alien. The ground shook with their approach. Daniel's mind raced. He had never faced anything like this. The crystal pulsed violently, as if responding to his fear and determination. The children raised their hands, their voices merging into a harmonic hum that filled the night. The energy formed a shimmering dome around the house, protecting them from the encroaching darkness. One of the children, a boy with eyes like molten gold, whispered urgently, "They know the crystal chooses a heart, yours, human. They want to test it." Daniel understood instantly. This was no ordinary attack. The shadow beings were testing him, probing the strength of his spirit. If he faltered, the crystal, and the alien family, would be lost forever. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I won't let you harm them," he shouted. "I will protect this family, no matter what." The shadows surged forward, colliding with the barrier of light. Sparks flew, and the air vibrated with a deafening energy. Daniel felt the crystal's warmth spread through his entire body, filling him with courage, clarity, and a strange, overwhelming power. The children's voices joined his, harmonizing in a way that made the energy surge higher, brighter. Suddenly, a massive shadow broke through the edge of the barrier. It lunged at Daniel, and for a terrifying moment, he thought they were lost. But then, the crystal blazed with a blinding light, enveloping both Daniel and the shadow. When the light faded, the shadow was gone. Only silence remained. The children looked at Daniel with awe, and the old woman stepped forward, her eyes shining. "You have passed the first test," she said softly. "But this is only the beginning. The crystal has chosen you because of your heart. But many will challenge it, and not all will come with pure intentions." Daniel sank to his knees, exhausted but determined. He realized the full truth: this was not just about kindness. It was about courage, strength, and the choices he would make. One wrong move, one lapse of heart, and everything, including the alien woman, her grandchildren, and Eldoria itself, could be lost. The wind howled outside. The forest whispered threats of things unseen. Daniel stood, gripping the crystal tighter, knowing that the shadows were only the beginning. The real challenge, one that would test every part of his being, was yet to come. And for the first time, he understood the responsibility of kindness. It could awaken miracles, but it could also awaken dangers beyond imagination. The town of Eldoria lay under a thick blanket of night, but the calm was only an illusion. Daniel stood in the old alien woman's yard, the glowing crystal warm in his palm, its energy now almost unbearable. Each pulse resonated with the heartbeat of the children, as if connecting their very souls. Suddenly, the wind changed. It came in sharp, violent gusts, carrying whispers that sounded like voices from another world. The shadow beings were returning, faster, stronger, and more organized. Their red eyes glowed with malice, scanning for the crystal. Daniel's stomach twisted with fear, but he did not falter. The alien children joined hands, forming a circle around Daniel and the old woman. Their combined energy created a shield that shimmered like liquid gold. The air vibrated with power, bending light, and distorting reality. Daniel felt a surge in his chest. The crystal pulsed wildly, and suddenly, he could see flashes, visions of distant planets, hidden realms, and beings far older than time itself. One of the children, a little girl with silver hair, stepped forward. Her voice was calm but commanding. "The crystal responds to your heart, Daniel. But the shadows are not just attacking, they are testing the bond. If you falter, all is lost. Daniel nodded. He realized that this was more than a fight, it was a test of courage, compassion, and trust. He closed his eyes and let the crystal's energy flow through him, focusing entirely on protecting the alien family. The shadows surged, smashing against the golden barrier. Each impact sent shockwaves through the ground, cracking the earth, and causing debris to fly. The children chanted in an ancient language, their voices harmonizing with the crystal. A blinding wave of light exploded outward, pushing back the shadow horde. But one massive figure broke through, larger, darker, and faster than the others. Its roar shook the air, and Daniel felt a cold, penetrating fear he had never known. "Hold steady," the old woman shouted. "The crystal will protect only if your heart is true." Daniel stood his ground. The massive shadow lunged at him, its claws reaching for the crystal. At the last second, he raised his hand, letting the crystal's light surge through him like a living flame. The shadow screamed, recoiling from the brilliance. In that moment, Daniel realized something incredible: the crystal did not just protect. It could amplify courage and bravery, turning his human heart into a weapon stronger than the shadows themselves. The children's combined energy intensified. Sparks of golden light shot from their fingertips, striking the shadow again and again. It faltered, then dissolved into mist, leaving only a lingering sense of threat. Daniel's chest heaved with exhaustion, but his eyes burned with determination. The old woman stepped forward, placing her hand on his shoulder. "You have done more than survive, Daniel. You have proven that kindness, courage, and love can awaken power beyond imagination. But remember, this is not the end. Others will come. The crystal's journey is far from over." Daniel looked at the alien grandchildren, their faces glowing with energy and joy. They were still children, yet somehow they carried the weight of worlds in their tiny bodies. He understood now: the crystal had chosen him, but it had also chosen them. Together, they were a force capable of reshaping destinies. Outside, the wind settled. The stars above Eldoria shimmered as if acknowledging the triumph of courage over darkness. Daniel held the crystal tightly, feeling the responsibility of what he had been entrusted with. The shadows had been defeated, for now, but the universe was vast, full of mysteries, challenges, and dangers he could not yet imagine. And deep in his heart, Daniel knew one thing clearly: his journey had only begun, and the story of kindness, courage, and cosmic power would reach a climax that no one in Eldoria would ever forget. The night over Eldoria was charged with tension. Stars flickered like distant sparks of fire, as if the universe itself watched the events unfolding below. Daniel stood in the yard of the alien elder, the glowing crystal pulsing violently in his hand. The alien grandchildren formed their protective circle, their eyes radiating power that felt both magical and terrifying. From the forest, a shadow larger and more menacing than ever emerged. It had survived the previous attacks, now radiating a darkness so intense it seemed to swallow the moonlight. Its red eyes glowed with intelligence and hatred. It had learned, adapted, and it was coming for revenge. "You must act, Daniel," the old woman's voice was urgent. "The crystal's power is tied to your heart. Only absolute courage, and the unity of love and kindness, can defeat it." Daniel nodded, feeling fear gnaw at his bones, but he refused to let it dominate him. He closed his eyes and focused entirely on the children, the old woman, and the town he had grown to love. The crystal responded to his determination, glowing brighter than ever, almost blinding in its brilliance. The shadow surged forward, faster than any human eye could follow. Its claws tore at the golden barrier surrounding them, sparks flying with each strike. But Daniel stepped forward, holding the crystal high. He could feel the energy connecting him to the children. Their combined power formed a wave of light that surged outward like a tidal force, pushing the shadow backward. But the shadow roared and split into 5 smaller, yet equally menacing figures, circling Daniel like predators. He realized the fight was not over, it had only become more complex. The children raised their hands, chanting a language that seemed older than time. The crystal flared, and a beam of pure energy shot into the sky, illuminating the entire town. Daniel felt something incredible. The crystal was amplifying his thoughts, his heart, his courage. For the first time, he could project his will, not just defend. He focused on one thing, protecting the alien family, and the shadows began to falter. Each strike from Daniel's heart-fueled energy dissolved a shadow into harmless light. Finally, the largest figure emerged again, wounded but furious. It lunged at Daniel in one final attack. Daniel held the crystal to his chest, closing his eyes. He imagined the old alien woman smiling, the children laughing, and the town safe. The crystal responded instantly, erupting in a blinding explosion of golden light that engulfed everything. When the light faded, silence reigned. The shadow was gone. The children were laughing again, their playful energy restored, and the alien elder stepped forward, tears of joy in her eyes. Daniel's hands shook, the crystal glowing gently, now calm, almost peaceful. "You have done it," the old woman said softly. "Your heart, your courage, your kindness, it saved more than you can imagine. The crystal has chosen wisely." Daniel smiled, exhausted but victorious. He realized that a simple act of giving water to a lonely alien woman had changed everything, not just for her, or her grandchildren, but for the town, and perhaps the entire universe. The shadows were gone, but the bond he had formed with the alien family and the crystal would remain forever. The children ran to him, hugging him tightly. Daniel laughed, feeling warmth and happiness he had never known. Eldoria was safe, and kindness had proven to be a force stronger than any darkness. From that night on, Daniel became a guardian, not just of the crystal, but of hope itself. And the story of the lonely alien woman, her 5 extraordinary grandchildren, and the human who dared to help her became a legend, a tale of courage, kindness, and the incredible power that lies in a single act of love.